Hi everyone, I wanted to do another short video to describe what I'm trying to accomplish by the projects that we're doing. There's three projects that I'm trying to relate to one another and have you pretend like what it would be if you were working for a company and you're asked to do something, and it starts to get into what is the design experience that an engineer or a computer scientist would have. And so the first thing that you have to be doing when you're designing something is figuring out what you're going to design. What is the purpose of what you're developing? And anything that we do, there is a design, and there's a lot of details. The more that you figure that out and then start to put that in with what you're trying to create, the better the outcome is going to be. Since another thing that we're trying to do in this course is do faith integration, I want you to be thinking of that. It could impact like what you're trying to design, how you're trying to design, what are the sources of knowledge and information that we can be using that I would argue you can be theologically informed, and that can influence what you're trying to do. So there's going to be three projects that we're going to have. The first is looking at digital logic design. That's one of the things that you'll understand the basics of how we do computing is some very fundamental logic that is then built layer and layer upon that. So we want to start to play that out. So maybe an application might be saying that you're looking at a home security system. That would be just something off the top of my head. And so you're wanting to see if there's this situation where you normally drive into your home, into the garage, and then you go into your house and you open certain doors. Well, if that sequence is done out of order, you would argue that there's something that is unusual and that would be flagged. And so you could start to show that in digital logic. So that's the first project. The second project that we want you to become familiar with is how you actually engage directly with a processor. So we have an application that simulates what that processor would like, and you have, quote, direct access to that virtual processor. So we're going to be doing some assembly language processing for a common type of processor that you would have. So that's the second project. And the third is an interesting thing. We'll be using something called an Arduino. It's a way that you can be hooking up, say, a computer to an interface device, the Arduino, and then have it hooked into all of this physical logic and hardware. So you have software and hardware. You can program in a higher level language, or you can actually program in assembly language, have that programmed into the software portion of the Arduino. Through a USB port, it hooks into the hardware unit for an Arduino. And then you have like your wiring board that you can hook up other electronics, LEDs, microphones, sensors. And if you were to go on the internet and search for Arduino, you would find all kinds of interesting devices. So those are the three projects. But I want you to be thinking more largely about what is it that you would like to design. And so a concept, what usually happens when you're developing an architecture is that you first do a breadboard. You do some demonstrations of part of that hardware. And so try and think about a larger thing that you're interested, something that may be specifically in your area of interest, or something that you think might be your area of interest in computer science or engineering, and we can start to frame that together. I would be glad to help you do that. I want you to write a short project plan. That's how I would be phrasing it if you were at work with me and we had funding for this, that we wanted to develop this technology that would be useful for some application. And so you would be developing a project plan, and then you have each one of these projects would be building upon that. I want to make available to individuals that would like to do that. In the end, you can either do the final exam, but another way that you could be demonstrating the skills that you've mastered in this course is to do a 10-page summary, a project summary. It's very common that what I have to do is do a report that is submitted to a customer that describes what we did, how it functions, and what's the benefit of what you've created. And so you're doing a demonstration of something that you find is interest to you. So it's whatever project you just pretend that you have all the funding that you need to do something that's of interest for you. And so that's how I wanted to frame the project experience as well as the technical skills that I'm trying to have you focus on in that. Thank you.